Door shut. All right. As a reminder, you'll receive 5 questions and you'll have 2 minutes to respond to each question. For question 1, what is your plan to strengthen unity among all members and make sure off-reservation and urban members feel equally included and supported?
One strategy would be we need to get the data from Duluth and Minneapolis in order to verify that we have enough information and people to open one on the east part, like let's say Bemidji Cass Lake area. That would be good to open up communication. We need to be able to bring those band members home to net here on Lake Vermilion, Rice over in Net Lake, and hunt. And we do need to start thinking about first generation and second generation, at the least, to be picking blueberries with us, to be picking medicines and doing that sort of thing back home, where it's a lot less disturbed than it is in the urban areas. So that would be a good thing to do. We'd have to work with our conservation committee and DNR to do that. We need to start having more community meetings out in those areas. And even though we don't have a urban office in the Bemidji and even as far as White Earth area, we should have meetings there. And we should also have our actual RTC meetings at Duluth and then at the Minneapolis office at least once or twice per year. English.
Question number 2. After the software update and accounting, things have not been sped up. How are you going to ensure our bills will be paid in a timely manner so that services are not impacted?
Okay, we're evaluating. We're also thinking about getting another third-party billing specialist because our accounts have grown incredibly. We have some vendors that do not take our purchase orders. So we need to be able to handle that because it's a purchase order and check request. It's very time consuming to do all of that and have those bills paid. Our system that we have, mind you, the AS400 is from 1988. And our new system that we're implementing this year is going to be a lot faster. It is going to be a lot more, not as cumbersome as the one in 1988 as the AS400. And what I like about this system is it's going to track who did what in all the systems at what time and what date. So we know who and where and what. So there's not that backlog of people physically going to ask each other what they were doing or sending an email communication. So we'll know exactly where the stopgap is and complete it and finish it. And we'll also have policies and procedures and training guides virtually on our system instead of always having to have in person. So with the modern times, that's how we're doing it is real-time training. Real-time accounting. Miigwech.
Question number 3. What is your plan if Ishkode is unsuccessful?
We're monitoring now. If you guys don't recall, that happened to the smoke shop at the at Fortune Bay. I was not a fan of that idea, but I went ahead with the council and we pulled it as soon as it wasn't making the money that we thought it should, even breaking even. So with Ishkode, we have to be able to supply it ourselves in order for it to be successful and to make any money. We can't keep buying from other vendors, White Earth, Mille Lacs, and others, because we're just putting money into their pockets. So we've got to open up, growing facilities here. And I'm thinking it's probably going to be more on Vermilion side, is what I'm thinking. Or we're going to have it somewhere. I would prefer it to be on our land.
Question number 4. How can our tribe begin to lead on profit-making projects?
We're going to have to watch the finances of not only ourselves, but federal, state, county, and any municipalities. I'm watching very closely the funding that's coming from those sources and what they're doing, because we're in competition with them, whether we like it or not. We're in competition with other bands and tribes, whether we like it or not. So that's what we're going to have to do, is watch those programs, watch our federal budgets. And they always say to spend federal money first, spend state money second, spend tribal funds last, because that's what we have unrestricted in our money. We've got to make sure that those grants are spent exactly for what we wrote them for. And so that's what we're doing now. Some people are kind of like, oh, why do you do that? How come you're making it hard for me? I'm not making it hard for you. There's federal guidelines, state guidelines that we need to meet. And do you think the Trump administration is going to go soft on us in 2026, 2027, and 2028? So that's why we need to be kind of hard on ourselves to make it through these years. Miigwech.
And finally, question number 5. In our casino, our employee band member count is the lowest it's ever been. How are you going to change our businesses to retain band members without impacting profits?
I know we always say a board of directors. I would think that the council has to stay close. If we go with a board of directors, we have to keep that communication open, because we're the ones who are watching, and very carefully we're watching who's getting hired and who's getting fired. I'm sending that out. I'm saying, stop firing our band members. What can we do to help them? We've got to get that transportation a little bit close and tight with our Big Woods Transit. We almost lost that. I think that was in 2024. We almost lost that program. Fortune Bay almost decided not to have that anymore and run their own. So we've got to really keep all the resources as close to our chest as we can and make them work for each band member, rather than thinking about what's best for, the facilities, what's best for this. We really need to train our band members and make it easy to go to work, and we need to change that environment. I think the working environment needs a little boost, and I think our band members need a little boost also, to be able to work there.
Miigwech. At this time, we'll ask Sasha to escort you to the candidate room. A bit of housekeeping while we wait for the candidates to shift positions. The election board will be working at the Zagi Baga Powwow on Saturday, June 6th from 12 to 4. Folks will be able to vote there. Of course, as a reminder, Election Day is Tuesday, June 9th. Polls will open on Tuesday at 8 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. Voting will take place at the District 1 Government and Community Services Building, at District 2 here at the Vermilion Social Center, and the Duluth Urban Office, in Minneapolis at the Minneapolis American Indian Center. And then for absentee voting, District 1 is the designated polling place. So just a reminder that next weekend, June 5th through the 7th, at the Zagi Bagapawa, the election board will be there from 12 to 4 if folks would like to vote there. Then on Monday, there'll be a community event on Memorial Day to honor our veterans. This event will take place at the Veterans Memorial at 10 a.m. Light snacks will be provided. So they're encouraging folks to come together to recognize and honor our veterans. Now for the question and answer portion, just a reminder, you'll receive 5 questions. You'll have 2 minutes to respond to each question. Question number 1. What is your plan to strengthen unity among all members and make sure off-reservation and urban members feel equally included and supported?
Well, we just have to keep communicating, keep letting band members know what we're doing or what the council is going to be doing. And by that, I would think we'd have meetings with down in the Duluth area, maybe meetings down at the urban office, and then we have to talk. We have to involve our urban representatives down there to let us know or let the tribal council know if the goals that we have in place from the band's level are we meeting those goals for those band members that live down in Duluth and Virginia, Minneapolis, wherever they may be. But within the reservation structure, on the reservations, we got to continue to let the band members know where they're coming from. Have our meetings, stagger them here at Vermilion and Boys Fort, and allow them band members to share as much information as we can with our band members, because that's vital. That communication that has to be open for the band members to understand what we're doing, where we're going, and what we're doing. But also on the other hand, we have to listen to those band members to see what they want, because we as the tribal council, we can't just say, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Well, we'd like to get that input from the band member itself to follow what they would like to see and their suggestions that they may have in place.
Question 2. After the software update in accounting, things have not been sped up. How are you going to ensure bills will be paid in a timely manner so that services are not impacted?
Again, I know that the training that our accounting staff is currently going through has been very, very hectic. I know that they've been having training quite often, but it's kind of taken them away from their current duties that they have to perform within the office. But again, the tribal council would just have to make sure that those goals are being met by the accounting division, and that goals are being followed, and that the bills are being paid on time, and that things are being met for any activity that's being handled by businesses or by band members coming in to access funds that maybe they need for their benefit. But again, we have to make sure that those goals that are being brought by the new computer equipment that's being put in place is being followed correctly. But it'll take some time for our staff to adjust to that.
Question 3. What is your plan if Ishkode is unsuccessful?
Well, I think the tribal council, after the elections are done, they have to come up, reevaluate Ishkode, what went right, what went wrong, and find out why we can improve on making Ishkode go forward. And we have to seek the band members' help and ask them what they would like to see where Ishkode is going. because it's a new business. It just started recently, and just like an infant, like a little baby infant, it has time to get up and walk and learn how to walk by itself. So again, we have to allow time, and again, just to evaluate where we want to go. And like I said, anything that's not going right, let's fix it. Things that are going right, let's improve it. But again, it's a brand new business. Let's try and make a go with it and see where it takes us.
Question 4. How can our tribe begin to lead on profit-making projects?
Well, on profit-making projects like our band own businesses, I think that we should put a board of directors made up of band members who are educated in business, educated in financial expertise. But again, I know at one time we did have a board of directors in place to oversee the businesses, but we we replaced them, and the tribal council kind of took over those responsibilities. But I think what it has to be done is board of directors has to be put in place, and it has to be made up of band members that are educated, and again in financial and business background for us to succeed. And work with the tribal council, the current tribal council, so we can go forward and improve anything that's going wrong, and improve any things that are going right. Let's make that better.
Finally, question number 5. In our casino, our employee band member count is the lowest it's ever been. How are you going to change our businesses to retain band members without impacting profits?
There again, the tribal council will have to meet with our band members, both here at Vermilion and at Bois Forte, as well as our band members that live locally in the Virginia and the Iron Range area and Cook, and give them the chance to come and work for our band, and make sure that they want to come and help our band succeed in, excuse me, in dealing with our band owned operations. And again, I know we have good HR departments at Fortune Bay, as well as at the government center, where we should utilize both those HR departments to come up with a plan to help pursue band members that want to work and come to help increase our profitabilities at any of our band owned businesses. But again, that's something that we should look at. And even if I don't get elected, I'd be considered, consider myself to help us succeed, because we have to look out for our little ones, our babies, and their babies that are coming up. So again, I would be willing to help in any way that I could with the tribal council, with improving our band-owned businesses.
Mingwich. At this time, we'll have Sasha bring Tara back out into the candidate forum area to give her closing statement. If you have not already, there are ice cream for root beer floats in the freezer. So please grab yourself some ice cream, or if you need another plate, there's plenty of food to go around. So, and I think there is sugar-free root beer. Yes, and regular root beer too. The next Tuesday, May 26th, there'll be a CPR community awareness training from 9 to 11 here at the Vermilion Social Center. And then there'll also be that same training from 1 to 3 p.m. In Net Lake. The training is free and open to the first 50 individuals. This time, candidates will give their closing statements in the reverse order that we did opening statements. As a reminder, you'll have 3 minutes to give your closing statement. So I'll hand it over to David Morrison Sr. to give his 3-minute closing statement.
In closing, I would like to will say that I won't make campaign promises that can be kept. I have told you of my concerns and my vision to address them. Those of you who know me understand my high ethical value, my commitment, and my responsibility to my job. A tribal leader carries high expectations to be at work every day and to be at various important meetings. So when the unexpected opportunity that a tribal leader, we as we are there to respond to your on your behalf. I will bring our tribal government, my leadership style of a democratic form of government where the people have a voice and allow input just as our ancestors did long ago. I will bring to the tribal government a proven track record of fairness and representation to all band members that isn't defined by who voted for who in the tribal elections. We need to work together and to utilize strategic planning that will put us in a proactive state of operations with a clear roadmap of where we want to be and what steps we will do to get there. One that is well thought out and will allow us to make sound decisions on your behalf. I'm ready and eager to work on your behalf. Good luck to all the candidates in the upcoming election, and to all the band members, please vote in the upcoming election. Keep in mind that one or two votes can and has made a difference in the outcome of the elections. I'd just like to say one thing that uh, today is May 21st, and I lost my wife 9 years ago, and today would have been our 49th wedding anniversary had she still been alive. And I just want to point that out because she was by my side all the years that I served on the tribal council in the past. She was my biggest supporter. She was my biggest campaign person, and she made a lot of phone calls when I ran before. And I just want to just let you know that it's been 9 years, and I still think of her every day. I she's always on my mind, and it just let you know that she was the love of my life. But I want to say miigwech and have a safe ride home. And again, I just want to wish the rest of the candidates a very good luck. And and anything that I can do, will, if I don't get elected, any help that I can help with the tribal government, I'm willing to help. Thank you.
Miigwech. At this time, we'll invite Tara Geshick to give her 3-minute closing statement.
Okay, in closing, as we close, I reaffirm my commitment to accountability, transparency, and prudent stewardship of Bois Forte finances. Our guiding documents, the Bois Forte bylaws, MCT Constitution, and Ethics Code, and these office responsibilities remain our North Star. We will maintain rigorous financial governance, a disciplined approach to audits, ongoing identification of risks, and a readiness to act on red flags. There is no room for spend first mentality, and we will continue to review, verify, and validate every dollar to prevent leaks and misuses. I voted against council salary increases on September 4th, 2024, and I haven't taken one increase since then. We celebrate progress, our cannabis initiative, and other opportunities while staying committed to building sustainable, diversified, and responsible economic development that benefits current members and next generations. Remember, you're always invited to the data privacy ordinance where you can view Bois Forte financials by appointment. Only two were viewed, two appointments in 2022 before I got on. We advertised for it and we got 5 in the last 4 years that I was in. So people are viewing. Change can be challenging, but it's worth it when it serves the people. I'm committed to elevating the secretary-treasurer role with financial literacy, governance rigor, and transparent leadership. I don't just manage finances, I understand them. That's why I ask for your ongoing engagement and support so we can protect and grow Boys Fork finances today, tomorrow, and for the generations to come. Thank you for your trust for holding us to a high standard. Miigwech, and good night.
Miigwech to our Secretary Treasurer candidates. And at this time, we'll invite the candidates for District 1 Representative up, Shane Drift and Mildred Holmes. And we'll now draw for the order of opening statements. Right. Okay. And Mildred Holmes drew 1 and Shane Drift drew 2. Candidates, as a reminder, you'll each receive 3 minutes to make your opening statements. So at this time, I'll introduce Mildred Holmes to make her 3-minute opening statement.
Anin Niganabik and Dishnakas Makwag Dudame Ogichidakwe Aspikane Zagai Ganing and Dunjaba Nimi Wayndam Waba Minan Nish Ingosisag Anoki Winin Minwaynim. I'm Mildred Holmes, Bear Clan, and I'm a jingle dress dancer, the Boys Fork band of Chippewa from Net Lake. I have 2 sons, both of whom I'm proud to have loved all their lives. And my parents were Marjorie Wakema Holmes, Axel J. Holmes Sr. My grandparents were John and Mabel Sorais Wakema of the Boys Fork band, and Henry and Rachel Chase Holmes of the St. Croix band. I filed for District 1 representative because of my interest in the Minnesota Chippewa Tribe Constitutional Convention and the Constitutional Reform Committee. It's going to have a lot of effects on all of us. And I've served on that committee for since 2018. And I've also attended TEC meetings for as the Boys Fork delegate. Let's see, and I've also worked with a lot of the other delegates from all the other reservations. We've had quite a few meetings, and one thing that I learned during all those meetings and traveling both here and there, we actually all have pretty much all the same concerns. And the most important one is the enrollment and the blood quantum. And so those are the things that I want to focus on during my next 4 years. When we were first on this committee in 2018, we were given 4 years to get all this stuff done. And we're still here. And I don't want this to be going on. And I've also mentioned that my
Mean
son,
which?
oh, all right, I thought I seen you 10 seconds. All right.
At this time, I'll now introduce Shane Drift to make his 3-minute opening statement.
Can you hear me? Oh, bonjour. Esquire sangue e Bahamas and indigenous cause. A sabico de saga egging and doing jaba. I dick don't dam. Oggy at the go, Tinata on National Bayman win. My name is Shane. I am the District 1 representative. I've been on council since 2018. And I'd like to thank you, the Boys Fort band members, for giving me that honor to serve you, the band members. We have made a lot of progress together. We can watch our tribal elections on the internet. We have a resolution in place for any new businesses to be put forth to the band members for your input, for you to ask questions, to give you a voice in our future. The Y Store loan is paid off ahead of time. The Y Store land is being placed in a trust. We will no longer be making payments on the loan payments and also the property taxes. I will continue to push and protect the 1854 treaty area, the wild rice on and off the reservation. Band members get a quarterly financial updates during regular tribal council meetings. I also pushed for a resolution that strengthens the office of the Secretary Treasurer, where the individual in that office, in that seat, can conduct their own audits without council interference. And I pushed for that. Anything regarding tribal council members' salaries must be held in open session for you, the Boys Fort band members, to see and hear. No more of this hiding behind closed doors. That needs to stop. The Health and Human Services now has a healthy financial reserve. Our first cannabis dispensary, Ishkode, is doing well. Granted that we are relying on other reservations to supply it, the profit margin is not so great right now until we get our own growing facility. And that is the key thing, is for us to have our own growing facility, because once we do, that's going to really be a game changer for us as a tribe, as a people. We have a new food shelf. We have the new Vermilion Public Works building, the DNR building, Bigwood Transit coming up. We have the Vermilion Boys Fort, Virginia clinic opening up soon. I pushed to get rid of Kemper Sports and WELY Radio because they were financial burdens on our casino. I will not give in to threats, intimidation, manipulation, pressure, or bullying. I will continue doing business the same way that I have been doing the last 8 years. I take my job duties and responsibilities.
Miigwech for your opening statements. It is now time to transition to the question and answer phase. We'll follow the same order as opening statements. So candidates not speaking will be sequestered with Jessica. So if you could go to the candidate forum room. Next weekend, June 5th through the 7th, is the Zagi Baga Powwow, with lots of great events going on through the weekend, including a walk run, karaoke party, Ojibwe bingo, a fry bread contest, and more. The election board will also be working at the Zagi Baga Powwow on Saturday, June 6th from 12 to 4. Folks can vote there. Of course, we know election day will be Tuesday, June 9th. Polls will open at 8 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. For question number 1, what is your plan to strengthen unity among all members and make sure off-reservation and urban members feel equally included and supported?
All right. Well, my first plan pretty much is to kind of keep on doing what I'm already doing. I travel down there a couple times a month. I teach a culture class down there, and in Minneapolis, and I do have if I don't get elected, I do have other plans to open up like my writing workshops in different areas of the state. I would like to try to do something like that when if I get elected, but that would be more on for getting young people or anybody who wants to open a business. When I think it was like about 30 years ago, they had a business class up in the village. And I think out of that class that everybody there was about 20 people that took that. And I think I'm the only one that's in business out of that class. And so I think a lot of it was the being knowing how to do business. And I think we need to have more kind of education kind of things for all of the off reservation and on reservation. And once they start getting together in a classroom situation, they'll get to know each other and they'll communicate more when they're out.
Question number 2. How do you bring tourism dollars to Net Lake?
Net Lake specifically. Well, what I want to do, since they don't have that that shop that they spent so much money on at the store by taking out like 4 or 5 washing machines and a couple of those big dryers. They put a space in there, and what I wanted to see in there is a little shop specifically for traditional things. We in Net Lake and on the res, we have a lot of traditional medicines that we could have in that store. And there's a lot of people that do traditional crafts and stuff there. Because since it is unlikely that we're going to be getting rid of that bear sanctuary anytime soon, I think we could manage to do a marketing scheme and have most of them come up there and buy some of our traditional products. There's a lot of other ideas that I have. There's a lot of artists up there. A lot of writers that don't have very much confidence in themselves, and so I would like to see them to be able to support themselves with their writing and their art. I think the last I think the last people I saw doing that was like 30 years ago. I beat it.
Great. Question number 3. What is your plan if Ishkode is unsuccessful?
Well, there would be an opportunity there too, I think, to I know they have the Heritage Center and stuff here, but we could if they don't sell anything for the cannabis stuff, we could get another kind of a business in there that we could use for tourism. And something that would be geared more towards like um the people that drive the RVs. I'm sure there's plenty of things that they would like to have available to them that they really can't get in the gift shops and stuff here. For myself though, I really hope that business Ishkode does succeed. In the next 2 years, I think if we don't start marketing it more, I'm thinking that it will fail. So we need to have more of a marketing effort for that Ishkode. You.
Question number 4. How much knowledge do you have on our dispensary and our 1866 lands?
The dispensary, I only know from when I attended the opening with my sister. I don't go there. As far as the 1866 land, I'm aware of the treaty and a lot of the conditions that are in there. I know most people are more familiar with the 1854, but the 1866 was specifically for the establishment of Net Lake, of Deer Creek, and Vermilion. And it took a while to get that treaty going through because the elders at the time, the leaders at the time, were insistent on getting making sure that we had access to wild rice. And that's you.
Finally, for question number 5, how are you going to ensure resources are fairly distributed to both districts and urban areas?
I'm not really sure exactly how it's really distributed now. I do know what it was supposed to be, but I don't know if it still follows the they go by population wise and by needs. When I was working in the early 90s, late 80s, I did like needs assessments on both Net Lake and Vermilion side. And with those needs assessments, we were able to get funding for a lot of the like the playgrounds that are around here, a lot of the school playground equipment, and then they even did the like the ballparks, the power ground, and so I think we need to start doing more needs assessment and not asking people to come in to like come in here and answer your survey. How I got so many people to answer and to give us a true idea of what was needed on both reservations was I went out to them and met them in their homes and talked to them there, and that's where I got the most honest answers from them. And I would like to see more of that done now.
Miigwech. At this time, we'll ask Sasha to escort you to the candidate room. While we wait for our candidates to switch, just a reminder, there'll be a community event on Memorial Day to honor our veterans. This event will take place at the Veterans Memorial at 10 a.m. There'll be light snacks provided, encouraging folks to come together to recognize and honor our veterans. And then on Tuesday, May 26th, there'll be a CPR community awareness training here at the Vermilion Social Center from 9 to 11 a.m. And then the same training will be offered from 1 to 3 p.m. in Net Lake. The training is free and open to the first 50 individuals. And of course, next weekend, June 5th through the 7th, is the Zagi Baga Powwow, with lots of great events going on throughout the weekend, including a walk run, karaoke party, Ojibwe bingo, a fry bread contest, and more. The election board will also be working at the Zagi Baga Powwow on Saturday, June 6th from 12 to 4, where folks will be able to vote. The election will take place on Tuesday, June 9th, with polls opening at 8 a.m. and closing at 8 p.m. Voting in person at District 1 will take place at the Government and Community Services Building. District 2 at the Vermilion Social Center. For folks in Duluth, will take place at the Duluth Urban Office. For folks voting in the Minneapolis Urban Office, will actually vote at the Minneapolis American Indian Center. And then absentee voting will take place at the District 1 location, which of course is the Government and Community Services Building. And then also when you arrived, you should have gotten a little packet of information. There is a survey in there. So if you could complete your surveys, you can turn those into Sasha and she will give you a ticket for a drawing at the end of the forum. All right. As a reminder, you'll receive 5 questions. You'll have 2 minutes to respond to each question, and Lisa will be our timekeeper. For question 1, what is your plan to strengthen unity among all members and make sure off-reservation and urban members feel equally included and supported?
Well, first thing is to sit down with them like individually as a group, like Duluth, the Twin Cities area, and also over in like either Grand Rapids and Bemidji, because we got band members over there, and sit down and see what they need and what they want, and also to take a look at what can we do financially, because we are not Fond du Lac, we are not Shakopee. We don't have an endless supply of money, and that's what it always boils down to is money. How much money do we have, and what can we do financially? And also to sit down with our band members here at Lake Vermilion, also in Nut Lake, and start getting a really good idea of not only what my idea of unity is, but what the band members' idea of what unity is. To me, a lot of stuff to bring down those barriers of what's keeping us apart, whether it's last names, political differences, old grudges, jealousy, hatred, lies, gossip, rumors. Every election we go through this. It's the same old cycle over and over again. And after it dies down, then it goes good for a little while, then it comes up the next election, right back at it again. And it's sad to see, and but I think that's the thing though, the key thing is to sit down with our band members and talk with them to get their idea of what unity is, what they would like to see us do as a tribal council, and what they would like to do as a people. Because what I want may not be what they want. And it might not be what Duluth wants as opposed to what the people in the Twin Cities want. So get all the differences there, get all the information there, and then make a decision together. It shouldn't be just a tribal council. Thank you.
Question 2, how would you bring tourism dollars to Nut Lake?
How would I bring tourism dollars to Nut Lake? Number one is that we need to start I suggested this a few years ago, is to make a small casino with a hotel there. And people laughed at me. Nobody entertained that idea except one director. One director said, actually, that's not a bad idea because you'll be bringing people in to come to Boys Fort, to come to Nut Lake, to gamble, to stay at the hotel, and also to take advantage of the, we have the bear sanctuary right down the road. How can we draw them into Nut Lake to come use our gas station? Because we know that our gas station up there, it's always operating at a loss, which our casino has to absorb. So that's another way another problem that we have to deal with. The other thing too is our population at Nut Lake is dwindling, our elementary school. And we're down to like, I think, under 35 kids. And that's a concern. It's a huge concern for me. So I think that, as we move on, I don't have all the answers. But if we put our heads together, I'm pretty sure that we as a people, as a tribe, could come up with solutions. And the tribal council as well, and to sit down and with our band members. Because if we don't, we're going to keep going downhill. And that's something that we need to stop. We need to turn that around somehow, some way. I don't have all the answers, but I'm willing to look, and I want to look. Mio, me got you.
Question 3. What is your plan if Ishkode is unsuccessful?
Well, number one is I check on it. I check on Ishkode every now and then. When I first got on council and looking at Kemper Sports, that was the management company that used to oversee our golf course, and I pushed to get rid of it because it was a financial burden on our casino. Some band members didn't like it. I pushed to get rid of Kemper WLY radio because it was a huge financial burden on our casino. Some people didn't like it. And with Ishkode, I check on it. Every now and then I'll check on it, see how it's doing, how our finances going. And we get monthly updates at the meetings. So we see how it's operating, how it's going. The profit margin isn't so great because we're relying on White Earth and other reservations to supply our cannabis dispensary. But once we get our own cannabis dispensary, the profit margin is going to increase. The profits are going to increase greatly. When we built that smoke shop in the Fortune Bay there, the intent was to draw more people into our casino to try and generate more revenue. And I kept checking on it. How is it doing? Not doing so good. So finally I said, we need to cut it. We need to stop it. We need to close it down. And I made that proposal to the council at that time, and the council agreed with it. We need to shut it down, and that's what we did. And the stuff that was in there is now at Ishkode. The shelvings is at Ishkode, so it wasn't a total loss. They can convert that area into a smoking area if need be. Mio, I got you.
Question number 4. How much knowledge do you have on our dispensary and our 1866 lands?
Could you repeat that?
How much knowledge do you have on our dispensary and our 1866 lands?
Dispensaries? Yeah. How much knowledge do I have on our dispensaries? It depends on what dispensaries you're talking about. If it's a cannabis, I have a lot because that's one thing I pushed for. And our 1866 treaty area? The 1866 treaty area is the land that surrounds from up by the Canadian border down past Nut Lake and up. And we signed that in 1866. And if you look at what it says, Boys Fort bands of Chippewa, bands with an S. When they came here, they mistaked the people that were living in their clans as bands. So that's why it says bands. Now, I've always said this on my group page. Our people were hunting, fishing, and gathering in the 1866 treaty area long before it was a treaty area. After that treaty was signed, they continued to hunt, fish, and gather like they normally did. And when the two countries were formed, America and Canada, Lac LaCroix was originally part of Bois Forte. So when they formed them two countries, that cut Lac LaCroix away from us. And I think, as we look at that, that's why I've been pushing so hard for us as Bois Forte to establish the 1866 treaty rights. 1866 treaty doesn't give us rights, but also doesn't take them away. They're in limbo. And so with that, and with the tribal council agreeing to continue on funding the research to gather that, so when we take this to court or whatever and push for it to get established, it most likely will go through, in my humble opinion. And that is something that I've been pushing for a long time, and that'd be so awesome once it happens. So awesome. I got you.
And finally, question 5. How are you going to ensure resources are fairly distributed to both districts and urban areas?
I think the one thing is to sit down and see what each area needs. What does Dent Lake need? What does Vermilion need? What does Duluth need? What does the Twin Cities need? What does Bemidji need? What do they need? Because everybody's needs are going to be different. And depending on what the needs are, what funding do we have available to supply those needs, whatever those supplies are, to fill those needs. And as you know, Bois Forte is not it's not rich. We're not a rich tribe. But I think as we move forward with that, assess it and keep reassessing every so often, because generations that are coming up behind us, their needs are going to be different than ours. And education, apprenticeships, welding, stuff like that. Put more money into education, more money into our assistance. We need to expand our services in the Twin Cities area, Duluth, so band members can access those services, whether it's mental health, dental, medical, whatever. And make sure that those services are billable services so they're self-sustaining. That way it won't be a hardship on the band if the band has to try and sustain it, it ain't going to work. The band don't have the money, that kind of money, to do that. So the key thing is basically coming together and seeing what they want and what can the tribe actually do. Neil, I got you.
At this time, we'll ask Millie to come back into the room. Along with candidate forum moderation through our tribal governance support services, NGC offers leadership development programming through our Rebuilders program, tribal finance support for Native nations interested in expanding their capacity of their tribal finance departments, and also community engagement programs. We have a flyer out for our community engagement. We have a ton of resources available on our website and our social media pages for you to check out webinars, printed resources, a directory of all of our rebuilders if you wanted to reach out to folks that are in our network. So definitely encourage you to check that out at www.nativegov.org, or find us on Facebook, Native Governance Center, or on Instagram at NativeGov. As a reminder, candidates, you will have 3 minutes to make your closing statements. We'll go in reverse order from opening statements. So Shane Drift will give his 3-minute closing statement now.
As we come into the general election on Tuesday, June 9th, 2026, I hope that band members do exercise their right to vote, whoever they vote for. And that when it's all said and done, that the key thing is that it's about the band members. It's not about this side or that side. It's not about, we won, you lost. That doesn't serve our best interest. We need leadership that's going to take our band member and advance it forward, not for their own families or their own little cliques. That needs to stop, because our financial success depends on our leadership and what they do or don't do. and to get away from the old grudges, to put them away because they don't serve us, they don't benefit us. I could tell you a lot of things that we have done, but you know what we've done. You've seen what the tribal council has done. I've posted it on my group page numerous times. I am for the culture, the language. I am for a roundhouse. I'm for building reserves for our tribal government, our casino, Ishkode, Health and Human Services. I'm about expanding services for band members in Duluth, Twin Cities. If you, the Boys White band members, elect me as the District 1 representative, I will not be a puppet. I will not stick my head in the sand. I will not look the other way or just follow the crowd for the sake of following the crowd. I will not bend the rules, policies, or resolutions for anyone or anybody or any group. I will continue to speak up and address the issues. I will continue doing business the same way that I have been doing the last 8 years. I have voted in solidarity with the tribal council, been outvoted, and stood alone on issues. But every decision that I have made, I have kept you, the Boys White band members, at my center of decision-making process. Because everything that I do or don't do affects you. Mio, miigwech.
At this time, we'll invite Mildred Holmes to give her 3-minute closing statement.
My hope for the future of the Boys White Band, all members and their families, wherever they may be enrolled, is that we stand together in overcoming obstacles to our unity as a tribe. One way is to allow people that didn't have a chance to learn our ways, our Anishinaabe ways, our language, our culture. And for some of the rest of us, we still have always a lot more to learn. And I do my best with the sharing the little bit that I do know. I've lived in I've lived in the cities. I've lived in Duluth. I've lived out of state. So, but I've mostly lived in that lake. So I kind of have a little bit of experience and stuff in a lot of the different lifestyles that entails. And then my other biggest concern is for the elders and the liberal that we're in now. We're not really having activities anymore. We're not meeting. There's even very few people that even show up for lunches anymore. And so I want to see that we have that back again. And I guess I've I want to be able to bring all the generations together in learning situations. Have sewing circles like the one that we started in Minneapolis. Down there we have all generations coming to the sewing class, and I'd like to see that again in the village. Meet you.
Miigwech to our District 1 representative candidate. At this time, we'll invite the District 2 representative candidates up. Right, at this time, I'll introduce the candidates for District 2 representative. They did draw their speaking order already. So speaking first, we have Elena Sherman, followed by Robert Moyer speaking second. As a reminder, you'll have 3 minutes to give your opening statements. Lisa will be our timekeeper. So I will go ahead and introduce Elena Sherman to give her 3-minute opening statement.
Hello. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Elena Sherman. I have been living on the Vermilion Reservation for close to 18 years. But prior to that, I grew up in Nut Lake. So one of the main things that I've noticed and why I chose to run is I noticed there's a lot of things that keep happening within the reservation and with our community. And just like most of you, I wanted to see some change. So I decided to throw my hat in and I'm going to give it the best that I can. So if anybody has any questions afterward, I'd be willing to sit and talk with you for a while or whatever works. So thank you.
Miigwech, at this time, we'll introduce Robert Moyer to give his 3-minute opening statement.
Hello, my name is Robert Moyer Jr. I'm the Vermilion representative on Bois Forte Tribal Council. It's been truly an honor to have served in this position the last 4 years. I've learned a lot and believe I can accomplish much more. I respectfully ask for your support and your vote for re-election in this upcoming general election on June 9th. I will remain committed to strong relationships with our federal, state, local, and tribal governments, including our First Nations relatives. Partnerships that protect our sovereignty, bring in resources to our people, and ensure the voice of Bois Forte is respected at every level. I'm hopeful for the future, and I will continue working to bring forward an equal representation for all our members through advocating for an at-large position. Thank you all again, and please get out and vote on the 9th, and just thanks for coming tonight.
Miigwech for your opening statements. We'll now transition to the question and answer phase. We'll follow the same order as opening statements. And so Robert, we'll have you go with Sasha and Jessica to the candidate room. As a reminder, you'll receive 5 questions for the question and answer portion. You'll have 2 minutes to respond to each question. And as always, Lisa will be our timekeeper for the question and answer portion. For question 1, what is your plan to strengthen unity among all members and make sure off-reservation and urban members feel equally included and supported?
As I think most answers I think including them needs to be showing up for our urban office people, not showing up through like teams. Let's be down there. Let's see what they're living with. Let's see what they're going through. Let's talk to them and get to know them on a day, like on a first name basis even. I've met some band members who did mention, they haven't even spoken to, a few leaders, which, that should not be. We should be able to talk to anybody and everybody. So I think for me, it would be including them, but being down there, walk the walk and talk the talk, be there and show that you support them, because when you show up, you make them feel heard.
For question 2, what is your understanding of Public Law 280?
My understanding of Public Law 280 is that state cannot come onto the reservation without our permission, and that any crimes that are, I guess, the bigger ones, I would suggest, that are going to be referred to the FBI. And so, and that we follow our own laws and our own codes.
Question 3, Fortune Bay is making drastic changes to operations, yet the council seems unaware. What are you going to change to have the council be informed?
Whoa.
I did not mean that. Sorry. My thing is that for sure with, I guess, on the business standpoint, I would reach out to majority of the staff. I want to see, you know, with the amount of changes that have been going on, there's always somewhere in there miscommunication. And with that, it becomes frustrating because nobody understands what's going on. You know, that's not being communicated. It's not trickling down from senior management down to the frontline staff. So I think for sure is, you know, getting in touch with the frontline staff. The employees are the ones that, you know, our guests go to see. You know, they don't go there to go and hang out with, you know, the CEO or the GM. They go there to hang out with one of their favorite bartenders or visit with somebody who's on the slot machines. So for me, I would start with interviewing employees to see their satisfaction rate and then go from there. Because in there, you know, you you read it everywhere. Nobody leaves a bad employment. They leave a bad manager. So for me, that's where I stand. And if, you know, if I were a manager and I had employees that, you know, weren't comfortable, you know, with what they're doing, or they had, I guess, issues, their first place I would want them to go see is me, so that I can fix it. So like if tribal council doesn't know what's going on, they're not going to know what's going to be fixed. So that would be my first start.
Question 4. Is the emergency response time from local emergency response teams adequate in your opinion?
No, I don't think it is. It is generally hard if you're having an emergency. You want for sure the response time to be minutes, not 20 minutes or 40 minutes. Our response time should be anywhere from 1 to 2 minutes. And that's just not what we have going on right now is not, I guess, not working. But of course, everything can be different and changed if we just look at what needs to be changed and work at getting to that goal.
Question 5. What is your plan if Ishkode is unsuccessful?
What is my plan? Okay. For that one, I guess I don't say I necessarily have a plan. My first question with that type of question is, what are we considered unsuccessful? Is it financially? Is it, you know, is it guest satisfaction? You know, that would be my first thing, is to find out where we are unsuccessful at and what we are as a team, what do we consider to be successful? So from there, and then if it's bleeding money, if we're bleeding money, we need to take a look at where we at instead of saying this business is no good, let's get out of it. No, this business is going down. We need to figure out the issue and then get it back to where it was.
Miigwech. At this time, we'll ask Sasha to escort you to the candidate room.
Thank you. Sorry.
Our upcoming events this weekend, if you're looking for something to do, Leech Lake's Memorial Day Powwow kicks off tomorrow and runs Friday through Sunday. And of course, on Monday for Memorial Day, there'll be a community event to honor our veterans. This event will take place at the Veterans Memorial at 10 a.m. There'll be light snacks provided, and so they're encouraging folks to come together to recognize and honor our veterans. On Tuesday, there'll be a CPR community awareness training here at the Vermilion Social Center from 9 to 11 a.m. And then the same training will be offered from 1 to 3 p.m. in Net Lake. The training is free and is open to the first 50 individuals. As a reminder, you'll receive 5 questions. You'll have 2 minutes to respond to each question. For question 1, what is your plan to strengthen unity among all members and make sure off-reservation and urban members feel equally included and supported?
I think one of my main goals, and I've been trying, you know, not a, it's been a difficult ask, and just seems like me wanting to get equal representation for all our band members through an at-large position with one district representative for each 1 and 2, Net Lake and Vermilion. I think that would be something that would unify us, make us all feel equal. All the urban, every voter would have the same exact vote. And I think just the equality of us all would mean a lot. And especially to me, I'd say that. Like,
Question 2. What is your understanding of Public Law 280?
Public Law 280 is it's not the easiest thing, and uh, it's kind of where we have more of the rights to charging our own people with crimes, and not having the influence of outside sources like the state or whatnot. But I think working mutually together with them is one benefit we need living in the rural areas. And I think just getting that help from the other sources would be beneficial.
Question 3. Fortune Bay is making drastic changes to operations, yet the council seems unaware. What are you going to change to have the council be informed?
I don't feel we're not informed. I think, the people that are hired there and working in the positions that they are in are the ones that should be making really good decisions that they think are beneficial to the business. I think all of us as employees are here trying to do the same thing, doing what's right for the band. And I would just hope that all our employees are doing the same thing. So I respect what they are doing, and would just like to help them get things accomplished and done.
Question 4. Is the emergency response time from local emergency response teams adequate in your opinion?
I think Net Lake might be a little bit more off the beaten path, so it might be a little more time for response from places. I think just getting that, advocating with the different leaders of the townships, the cities, the county, working together on trying to get more of these services available to all the area around us is probably our biggest thing to do. Yeah, thank you.
And finally, question 5. What is your plan if Ishkode is unsuccessful?
Ishkode, in my opinion, will not be unsuccessful. I think it's been a success at what it's been able to do so far, and I think it would be a great benefit to keep that going and to get our cultivation going so we could have a little bit cheaper product and get into that market also. If it does fail, which I really don't think it will, I think the opportunity with the building and different things, we could do different things for Fortune Bay with it and stuff. But I I really don't think it's going to be a problem. Ishkode is doing pretty good from all my talks with Paxton. Thanks.
Which at this time we'll welcome Elena back to give closing statements. And a bit of housekeeping while we wait. There are evaluation surveys that were in your packets. or there are some up on the front table, I believe. If you could complete those and turn them into Sasha, we'll get you a raffle ticket and we'll have a drawing for completed surveys. And as a reminder, the election will take place on June 9th. Polls will open at 8 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. Voting will take place for District 1 at the Government and Community Services Building, at the Vermilion Social Center here for District 2. For those folks in Duluth, voting will take place at the Duluth Urban Office. For those folks in Minneapolis, voting will take place at the Minneapolis American Indian Center. And District 1 is also the designated polling place for absentee ballot voting. The election board will be working at the Zagi Baga Powwow on Saturday, June 6th from 12 to 4. People will be able to vote there as well. Got caught.
Now.
All right. As a reminder, candidates will have 3 minutes to give your closing statements. Closing statements will occur in the opposite order of opening statements. So we'll hand it over to Robert Moyer to give his 3-minute closing statement.
Well, in closing, I just hope everybody gets out and votes and, just do what you think is right. And we'll count the ballots and hopefully whoever wins just keeps doing what's right for the band. I think in my outlook of everything, I think the future looks pretty bright with us for different programs that are coming together, like the carbon credits, Ishkode, the 105L leasing. I mean, some of these monies that might be coming in might be a good benefit to all our band members, and I think our future looks pretty good. Thank you guys, and get out and vote.
Gwitch. At this time, we'll hand it over to Elena Sherman to give her 3-minute closing statement.
So in closing, I want to thank everybody for coming out, allowing all of us to share our thoughts and ideas on how we can each make, I guess, our own tribe better. We all pretty much care about everything. Otherwise, we wouldn't be up here. So, please take the time to go out and vote on the 9th. Every vote counts. As most know, we didn't have the greatest voter turnout on the first round. So let's see if we can make that a different thing. Let's start being different and start there. So thank you everybody for coming. And if you have any questions, just please reach out. Thanks.
Miigwech, this concludes the candidate forum. I want to thank the candidates, the audience for participating, Karina Lyons for the wonderful catering. It's been an honor and a privilege to learn more about the candidates' thoughts, values, and vision for the Boy Sport Band of Chippewa. And as we conclude, we will collect any remaining surveys from Sasha. And Miigwech, and safe travels home this evening. And there are plenty of leftovers, so grab an ice cream or a takeaway box for the road.